Hey, what is up guys, Zero here, and welcome back to yet another Lorcana video. Today I have a spicy deck tech for y'all, so if you want to catch your friends, your local players, or opponents here and there by surprise, boy do I have a deck for you. I'm talking about Pabbie OTK. Before we get started, a good chunk of you lovely people here aren't subscribed. If you like what you see and want to keep up with this channel, I would very much appreciate your subscription. Also, if you hit the notification bell, it will let you know when I upload fresh new content. In addition to that, I'd be happy if you gave this video a like if you enjoyed, and comment what's your favorite color combo for set 5 Shimmering Skies. I would love to know, so comment below. Alright, now getting into things first, let's go over some of the key cards in this deck. They're definitely not seen very often. I had a lot of opponents asking to read my cards when I was playing around with this. So let's go over these real quick before checking out the deck list itself. We're going to start, of course, with the man of the hour, Grand Pabbie. He is your main win con and one of the absolutely necessary components if you actually want to perform the OTK. Grand Pabbie is an uninkable 7-cost character, 3/6 stat line that lures for 3 with the ability Ancient Insight. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, you gain 2 lore. So reading this ability, you can already kind of guess the direction of the deck. We're going to try to chain heals to gain a lot of lore very quickly. Because of this, in the past, if you are running a Grand Pabbie deck, a lot of people wanted to dip into Amber because they wanted to reach all the healing cards that Amber has to offer. However, in my opinion, the Sapphire Amber color combo with Pabbie just often falls short because while it does have some nice healing tools, it really struggles to find ways to get damage on your own characters to be healed. Not only that, because of this, since you have to be challenging to damage your own characters, you're often also missing out on lore since you can't quest with them at the same time. And the other thing is, if you go down that route, the deck is kind of heavily reliant on Grand Pabbie to win the game, so oftentimes if you don't get him to stick on the board or if you don't find him, you'll find yourself at a loss. While in my deck, he is essential to our OTK strategy, we can still kind of win without him through normal conventions. But yeah, we're not going to go down that route. Instead of Amber for this deck, we're going to be dipping into Ruby, which gives us a lot more avenues to hurt our masochistic characters. We have Mulan and Mother Gothel who enter play hurt already. Mulan in particular is very nice since she only costs 1 ink. She can easily be played in the turn that you're trying to end the game to squeeze out just a little bit of extra lore. On top of that, we also have access to our second key card of this deck. Another often overlooked one you probably haven't seen much either. On Your Feet Now. This 4-cost uninkable card readies all your characters and deals 1 damage to all of them. They can't quest for the rest of the turn, but that is okay. This card is needed for the OTK strategy. It is absolutely essential, and it fits in so perfectly with Grand Pabbie. It was almost like it was made for him. It damages all of your characters and readies them. That's 2 indispensable abilities for this deck. Now, all your characters on the board are ready to be healed, and they are also ready so you can often keep them safe for a turn since they can't be challenged. But if need be, you can also challenge with them and sing with them still. That's going to be important later on. But yeah, we will go over how this helps everything in the OTK Combos section of this video. Another card that fits really well into this deck that we get access to from Ruby is Raya the Fierce Protector. This isn't necessary for the OTK, but she is actually very helpful in getting it done. And when you can't OTK, she actually helps you lore in a more steady and natural pace. But yeah, if you're playing mainly with meta decks, this is probably a card you also haven't seen very much, but she is 3 cost, inkable, and she has a 3/3 stat line with the ability Don't Cross Me. Whenever this character challenges another character, you gain 1 lore for each of your other damaged characters you have in play. So you can kind of see the synergy there. After On Your Feet Now, all your characters will be damaged, so when this card attacks, it will gain lore for basically every character you have on the board. Since she's attacking to gain lore, it doesn't matter that On Your Feet Now doesn't allow you to quest. This definitely makes your OTK turn easier, but she can also gather lore for you earlier in the game as well if need be. OTKing is fun and all, but usually any drop of lore we can get beforehand helps, because sometimes we'll find ourselves, just a little bit short if we don't have 1 or 2 combo pieces near the end. The last card I would consider a key card necessary for the deck to function is the brand new Sapphire card this set, which is Ever As Before. This card is why I'm even thinking of building this deck in this set. It's the reason we can confidently not dip into Amber, and it's the big moneymaker of the entire deck. A 2-cost song, it can remove up to 2 damage from any number of your chosen characters. This is amazing. It's a mass heal that can be sung in Sapphire. So that really ties this deck up in a neat bow and allows us to combo into the possible OTK. Again, we'll go over how this is done more in depth in the OTK combo section, but for now, let's look at the deck list and go from there. So this is the deck list that I thought of. It's definitely not perfect, and there are some substitutions that I can suggest, but this is kind of what I thought I might need to get through the game to the point where we can win, and other bits and pieces. But yeah, let's just get started from the beginning and I can kind of explain every card. First, we have Mulan and Mother Gothel. Obviously, like I mentioned before, they self-damage, so it's very nice where we can heal them for Grand Pabbie without having to hurt themselves on opposing characters. Also, early game, we can actually heal them for control. Like, we can use them to trade with some, aggro pieces or anything else like that. We also have the Queen of Hearts for this. I added her in just in case we are up against aggro, so we can kill like little Lilos and little Maleficents, anything like that. We just don't want to lose too early because we need time to set up our combos, so obviously a lot of anti-aggro helps. I have Tipo in here with Mickey Mouse too. We have 4 copies of each of those. That's just our ramp because we're going to need a considerable amount of ink to perform our OTK if we want to get there, so ramping always helps. Not only that, I like the stat lines of the characters where they can take damage without dying, so that's why we don't run Chicha in this deck. She only has 1 health, so she doesn't help us with the combo. Tipo helps because he has 2 health, at least he can take a damage and survive. Mickey, 1-3 stat line, that's also very nice for us. We want something that can take like 1 or 2 damage and survive. So yeah, we have 4 copies of Raya. Obviously, we have 4 copies of all of our combo pieces. So we have 4 Rayas, 4 Ever As Befores, we have 4 Grand Pabbies, and we have 4 On Your Feet Now. So yeah, that's just, I've already explained why they're all really good. Now that I've played with the deck a bit, I can consider, losing one of the On Your Feet Nows or something like that, and it doesn't really hurt too much. But yeah, for most of our examples that I have, I'm going to have this current deck build. But yeah, now that that's out of the way, next I put 2 Goofies in the deck. The idea with Goofy is, again, we have kind of like a control card that we can use here, because Goofy comes out with Rush and he actually gains us lore too, so that's super nice if we do manage to get him off. But yeah, his main use is going to be like clearing some lore threats on the board, gaining us lore, and he has a nice 4 health to survive a lot of hits. So again, we can, since he's already doing his job of challenging, he's usually going to be taking damage with that anyway, and then we can heal it off on our big Grand Pabbie turn. 4 Hirims, of course, because we run quite a few items. I have 4 Vitalis Spheres, 4 Popsicles, and 4 Gumbo Pots, so a lot of targets for our Hirim to hit. Yeah, we'll go over the items a bit later, but yeah, that's why Hirim, Hirim is amazing, probably the best Sapphire card ever, so of course we're going to run 4 of him. The other thing that this deck, we actually use Hirim in another way that most other decks don't, so he is even more amazing for a deck. It's because he has 6 health. We can just play him on the board. Like, let's say we're against Steel, we can play multiple of him on the board, and that does a couple things. One is we don't have to quest to get rid of our items, we can just play more Hirims. And Steel usually has trouble getting rid of 6 health. We can kind of guarantee that we're going to have like a permanent character on the board with everyone we play. In most cases, sometimes they like to Zeus him and all that, but yeah, that's why playing multiple is nice. But yeah, next we have 4 Mauis. Again, Maui kind of for the same reason as Goofy, he's super good. He is removal for us. Very, very good removal, one of the best ones in Ruby. He is a character, he has 5 health, so normally he stays on the board, and if they don't remove it, then we can use him for our combo as well. So yeah, of course 4 of him. I do have 2 Mulans in here, the 6-cost Shift Mulan. Mainly I have it as a threat that I'm going to do it, so you can basically so having the threat is amazing, because if I have a Mulan on the board, sometimes if I have enough ink to shift into Mulan, my opponent just won't quest. So it's again just like a deterrent. It's like a nuclear missile essentially. Like, I have this, you're gonna have to be scared that I have it. So if you want to preserve your characters, you can't be questing. So that's why it's in the deck. It's mainly a deterrent, but once sometimes if you get her on the board and you just clear, it feels so good anyway. So yeah, that's why she's in the deck. We have 4 Grand Pabbies, like I said. We have 1 Gaston, so I have this Gaston that, I mean, obviously is really good for this deck. It's the new set 5-1. She costs 2 less for every damage character I have on the board, and since we're going to be doing that a lot, sometimes I play him out for 1 cost, you know, sometimes 3, or sometimes 5 if I feel desperate. But usually, like, if he can come out for 1 or 3 costs, he's amazing. He's 10-6, he lures for 2, he has a rush. So again, 6 health, amazingly big. We love these big characters that can take the damage and survive. Yeah, and then we mentioned the 4 ever as befores. I put 2 brawls in here just because I had, like, you know, 2 spots to fill essentially. Brawl, I feel like it's just necessary for Ruby at this point, just again for control. I just want to survive so that we can get to our OTK turn, or, you know, just a turn where we can try and end the game. Maybe we want more of that, but I'm still trying to work with the numbers on what to take out. But yeah, we have 4 on your feet nows, and then for our items, we have 4 Vitalispheres. This is really important for Raya actually, so that we usually use this to pop on Raya so that she can attack on her turn that we play her. So it's kind of a surprise lore getter in that way. We'll cover that a bit more in the next section. But yeah, 4 popsicles, of course. Why not popsicle? Popsicle serves a second purpose for us in this deck as well, in that it also heals. So if we want to, we can use it to heal to get the Pabbie lore in that way too. And Gumbo Pot is actually super good in this deck because it just, with exerting, we can heal 1 health off of 2 characters. That's 4 lore when Pabbie's on the board, so it really helps us get our OTK across. But yeah, that's the deck. Here are some possible subs we can make, and possible subs I've actually been considering already. First thing that comes to mind is the Hydra. I'm actually probably going to add this into the deck for future play. So you might see some games without it in, but I'm definitely adding it in the future. It just seems too good to pass up. It has a 6-5 stat line, so again, it has a lot of health. Not only that, it aids in removal, and we're healing it, so it's actually more effective since if we heal it, it can, you know, trade more and deal more damage to opponents. Very nice, I think. It's a beefy boy, so it can take hits, deal damage. It seems really good for the deck. Speaking of that, another consideration is Scar, the 7 cost, the one that can challenge a lot. Is another removal helper that can take a hit. He can also usually, after he does all the challenging, if he survives, he ends the turn ready, since he readies himself after every challenge. So you can keep him safe for, you know, either your final turn or just for healing later, which is really nice. One more card I've been thinking about a lot is the new Maximus. Since we run Gaston and Maui, we have access to some very free lore when we play Maximus on the board. Not only that, if we do add Hydra, if we do add Scar, that is more characters that meets the requirement to gain free lore. He also has a really fat body, which is nice because again, he'll stay alive through damage and can be healed later for future lore. The only thing I'm worried about is he's kind of like an alternate win condition, so if we're kind of detracting too much from the idea of this deck, then, you know, if he's just distracting, I don't think he's a good addition, but it is something to think about if you can somehow make it work. Besides that, the other card you can consider adding is Floodborn Jasmine. She was the original mass healer before we got Ever as before. It was just a bit harder to OTK with her just because you needed a lot more ink, obviously, if you're not going to be singing Ever as before. It's also a bit of a commitment because you probably want your full baby Jasmine line into the deck as well, so because you kind of want to also quest with her the turn you play her if you're trying to like get close to an OTK anyway. And yeah, she can't be sung, so it will be harder to OTK. And yeah, you know, maybe adding her into the deck will add consistency if you're worried about that, but yeah, you'll have to find space if you definitely want to do that. So the first OTK combo I want to show you guys is the quickest one you can pull off. So this is just the one that you can pull off the earliest. It's also the riskiest, so I just wouldn't suggest it unless you are confident that you can keep everything alive on the board to pull it off. But yeah, what you need for prep is you just need 3 characters on the board. It can be any characters, so I just chose those 3. You also need a Vitalisphere on the board, and this has to be the turn where you're going to be getting 7 ink. So if you ramped a bit, then you know it can be earlier than turn 7, but if you just naturally were playing your characters, then this is probably going to be turn 7 where you can start to do this. But you're gonna need 1 turn for prep, and you need these cards on in your hand. You're gonna need Grand Pabbie, Raya, On Your Feet Now, and Ever As Before. And yeah, the first turn is just going to be prep. On this turn where you have 7 ink, you're just going to be playing out the Grand Pabbie. This is what makes it risky because your Grand Pabbie has to survive, and so does all your characters if you want to pull this off. So yeah, definitely only do this if you're sure that everything can be alive for the actual turn where you are going to be performing the OTK. But yeah, you can see like, so I'm going to be starting from 0 lore. On this turn, I'm going to get all 20 and win the game. So starting off on your turn, you are going to be inking a card, any card, so that now you have 8 ink on this turn. And then first thing you're going to be doing is you are going to be questing with all characters on the board. I've considered if everything only has 1 lore, which might be the case. With Grand Pabbie, this adds up to 6, so we're going to get 6 lore from this quest. Then we are going to be playing On Your Feet Now to ready all of the characters. They all take 1 damage while you do this as well. So that just cost you 4 ink. You only have 4 left, so you have 3. You're going to play Raya on the board. For 1, you are going to use the Vitalisphere on her. So this gives her rush. You're going to banish the Vitalisphere, and now she can attack this turn. You have 4 damage characters, and you have Raya. You just need to attack one of your opponent's characters. It can be anything. Raya has to survive though, so that is part of the combo. You have to have an opponent that is weak enough that Raya won't die to it. So yeah, on attack, she'll survive. You gain 4 lore for 4 damage characters on your board, and she will also get hurt. Now that you have 5 damage characters on the board, you can use any of your other characters to sing Ever As Before. That heals all 5 of them, and with Pabbie on the board, that gives you 10 more lore, gets you all the way up to 20, and gives you the victory. So yeah, a lot of moving pieces there, but if you can manage to pull this off, it's great. If you are about to, like, if Raya wouldn't survive the attack, or if you lose something else on the way, having extra characters helps, or having extra healing, like through a gumbo pot or some more popsicles or another Ever As Before, that also helps. But yeah, that is the first combo. The next combo we can look at, it will require significantly more ink. A lot of your combos will happen with needing 11 or 12 ink, so that one is really early but really risky. So if you want a little more, safety, then you're gonna have to wait a bit later before pulling him off. But all you need is Mickey Mouse and Raya on 2 gumbo pots on the field already. Yeah, and in your hand you're gonna be needing Ever As Before again. You're going to need a Mulan already in your hand, or, if you want to perform this on turn 11, this already has to be on the field, obviously, or not turn 11, like with 11 ink instead of 12. On Your Feet Now, and Grand Pabbie. But yeah, to pull this one off, you're also going to need some characters to challenge and survive. So you're going to be challenging with Mickey and Raya to start. So first with Mickey, you're going to take a damage with Mickey, and then you're going to challenge with Raya. And with Raya's ability, you're going to be gaining 1 lore and taking damage from the challenge. Then you're going to be spending 1 to play Mulan on the field. And Mulan's going to take 2 damage. And you're going to be spending 7 next to play Grand Pabbie. Now that he's on the field, you're going to use your Gumbo Pot's ability to heal 2 of your characters. So you're going to take 1 damage off of your Mulan and 1 damage off of one of your characters. This is going to give us 4 lore. Oop, down to 5. Then we're going to use the other Gumbo Pot's ability to heal again. We're going to heal 1 more off Mulan and 1 off the Raya. We're going to get another 4 lore that way. Then we hit On Your Feet Now. So this is going to ready all your characters and deal 1 to everything. Now that everything's damaged again, you are going to be attacking with Raya. Again, you have to survive though, so something to keep in mind there. We gained 3 off of that, so now all we have to do is use one of our characters to sing Ever As Before. Heal all the characters. We gain 8 that way. That brings us up to 20 again. Another OTK on the books. If you get Pabbie to stick on the board and not get removed for a turn, it really gives you more options to go with. Here's just another example. Like, let's say you have Vitalisphere and Popsicle on the board. You have 2 characters and Pabbie. You need 12 ink for this combination, but you can pull it off with 2 On Your Feet Nows, Ever As Before, and Raya. Idea here is you start with questing with Pabbie and the 2 characters. This is the nice part about already having Pabbie on the board. He gives you a lot of questing power for your 1 turn kill. But yeah, you get up to 5 here. Then you are going to be playing your On Your Feet Now. Now that everyone is ready and damaged, you can play your Raya for 3, so that's been 7 ink total so far. You're going to pop your Vital Sphere to give her Rush, so that's 8. And then you are going to attack here, gain 3 off of that, and your Raya is going to get damaged. From here, you can sing Ever As Before with one of your characters. You're going to heal all of your characters and gain 8 lore off of that because you have 4 characters on the board. Then with 4 more ink, you're going to play On Your Feet Now again. Everything is going to get damaged and readied again. From here, you attack with Raya. You gain another 3 lore for 3 damaged characters. Raya can die at this point, it's fine. And then with your Popsicle, you heal one of your characters and you get even more than 20, you get 21. I know all the combos I've shown had Raya so far, but yeah, you can still do it without her. It is much nicer if Pabbie is on the board, obviously. So in this example, let's say we have 2 characters and Pabbie on the board already. You can pull this off with 11 ink. What you're going to need is you're going to need 2 copies On Your Feet Now, 2 copies of Ever As Before, and you need your Gaston. Idea here is you just quest across the board. You're going to gain 5 from that. But On Your Feet Now for 4. With 3 damage characters, you can play Gaston out for 3. And just challenge into something, just get some damage onto him. Then with one of your characters, you are going to sing Ever As Before. This will heal all of our characters, and we are going to get 8 lore off of that. Then again, with 4 more ink, we just hit again On Your Feet Now, and then we just have to sing our last Ever As Before for another 8 lore. If you want to do it keeping Pabbie in your hand so that your opponent doesn't see it coming, you can do that. You just need more characters on the board. All the earlier ones were just if we didn't have enough characters on the board. So if we have 4 characters and Gumbo Pot here, we can do it with Pabbie in hand, 2 Ever As Befores, and like On Your Feet Now as an example. How you're going to have to do it though is you're going to have to challenge with, I would say, 3 of them. And you have to take more damage so that the Gumbo Pot has room to heal. So yeah, so let's say everything takes 2 damage from this. You can, from here, play out your Grand Pabbie. Then you're going to use your Gumbo Pot, heal 2 of them, and gain 4 lore. Then with your last character, you are going to sing Ever As Before for another 6 lore. Then we just hit On Your Feet Now, get everyone up and damaged. And then, as you know, last thing you gotta do is you sing Ever As Before again. That gives us the 10 lore we need to hit 20. And obviously, seeing all this, like, it's really almost simple with a Grand Pabbie out. As long as everything survives, that's always the hard part. But if everything survives, it's really simple with 1 Grand Pabbie. If you get your Pabbie to stick on the board, like some of these examples had, if you play another Grand Pabbie, it's almost like guaranteed that you're going to OTK. Last thing I have for you guys before the end of this video is some example gameplay. Just kind of see it in action because, you know, in theory we have these OTK combos, but that's like kind of in a vacuum. We don't know how it'll actually operate IRL. So this is a game we are playing against Steelsong, so very meta, and let's just see if we can take them down with this funky deck of ours. So yeah, first few turns about normal. We get a Mulan on board, but it gets removed by a singing 5-cost queen who sings Let the Storm Rage On. We get our Mickey on board, gonna start ramping just a little bit here while our opponent just is gonna play a lot of characters. That's the thing about Steelsong. We get a lot of small characters that can quest for a lot, so we kind of don't want to get them out of control. So that's why we're gonna play Maui here to take care of the queen, kind of get a control of the situation here. Our opponent has a lot of low strength characters, which is nice for us because they are going to be singing a lot. So like we see here, he pulls World's Greatest Criminal Mind with Ariel and uses the Ursula to sing it on our Maui. That's fine, but yeah, they're gonna have to be singing a lot, so they will almost always be exerted, so it's nice for us because we are probably going to be challenging into them. It's nice that we're playing against Steel because usually we get away with a lot of things that we normally wouldn't with like challenging and stuff. But yeah, we get Zeus here. I play Raya kind of almost cheekily. I feel like you kind of want to keep her in your hand usually, but the other thing is we're getting Zeus's out of his hand, so maybe that is also fine. But yeah, all we're trying to do is build a board that doesn't get destroyed. Like, we don't want everything to die here. So I'm playing Mickey here, I'm playing Hiram, things that are like hard to take out, because you know Storm Rage on does 2 damage and Hiram has 6 health, so it even survives Zeus, which is very nice. My opponent gets super lucky here. He had an empty hand and he top decks a whole new world. I thought we were gonna be able to run away a little bit there with building our board, but now since he refreshed his hand, he gets to play a lot more cards, see a lot more cards. We also get to see a lot more cards, which is nice, but I think we were fine. We had like Hiram and stuff we could have drawn on our own without his help. But yeah, we find another Maui. We're just gonna keep, you know, removing threats off the board. I got a gumbo pot on the board just because it's nice to have at least one in case we need it for the combo later. Also, I can start healing like Maui and some of these other characters too. But yeah, our opponent is gonna sing Storm Rage on here, and then he's going to use Pete to trade with our Maui. And we still have a good board here. We have, you know, 2 Mickeys, Hiram, and Mulan, so a lot of characters on the board at least. Our opponent shifts into Robin Hood before singing Whole New World, and then he also has a strength of a Raging Fire. He's going to take out our Mulan because he's scared of the shift. Like I said earlier, just having it, you know, is a cause for concern that I might be able to do that. But yeah, so we're just gonna keep trying to build a board because we know we don't have Raya, so we need more characters on the board to pull off an OTK, because we're probably going to be heading in that direction. I have quested for only 1 this game, but let's just pretend I didn't answer because we want to see if we can get to 220 in 1 turn. This is an OTK deck and I kind of want to show it off, so that is the idea here. I'm gonna keep building with these characters. I want as many characters on the board as I can, and here again I'm gonna try again to get that Raya to stick on the board because that will just make things easier. Have to do less math, but again we have another Zeus, so Raya does not stay. The good thing I guess is that Raya is drawing all these Zeuses that could be getting fired at the Hiram, so our Hiram is relatively safe still. We have 4 characters on the board, and my opponent just did some singing, just did some questing, and yeah, it's kind of looking like we can pull this off, especially now. He plays a Shmi, he with Naveen, he Whole New Worlds us, so we actually got a new hand and it ends up working out for us, this new hand that he refreshed, so thank you for that. We are gonna play out our Pabbie here, which means we are committing to the bit. We are going to try and win this turn because otherwise he'll just get removed and we're not gonna have anything. But as you can see, I ink my 11th ink here, which is exactly what I need to end this. I have 2 Hirams. They're gonna go into Robin Hood here. The reason I do that is he does 2 damage, so when I use Gumbo Pot here, my Hirams will still have 1 damage each. We gain 4 lore for that, and then I'm going to use Mickey to attack here before singing ever as before with our last remaining Mickey. We're going to get 6 lore from this. We go up to 10, and then we have our On Your Feet Now, get everybody damaged before we play out our last ever as before for game. So doable, very doable with these cards, but yeah, I'm liking the deck. It's fun. We're gonna probably have to tweak it a little bit to really make it any sort of relevant. It's probably not gonna be a tier 1 deck, but I think it's fun that you can definitely catch people by surprise if they don't know it's coming, and definitely can get some surprise wins off of it. So I don't know, I'm really happy with it. Hoping it will do better with, you know, a few more tweaks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. It was really fun to do this kind of deck profile kind of thing. Hoping to do more of it in the future maybe. But yeah, if you like this video, definitely hit me up with a like. Let me know below what, you know, if you enjoyed it. Do you like this deck? Are you gonna try it out? I would love to know that. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there. Happy deck testing, and we will catch you guys next time. Ciao.